Say hi. Can you tell him hi? Tell him hi.
Cute.
It's nice to see you. I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen each other. How's everybody doing? Are we hanging in there? Raise your hand if last week was just awful on all levels. It just seemed so terrible. This week so far, we're 2 days in, I'm feeling much better about things. And that has nothing to do with any sort of political stance. I'm just saying it was hard last week for everybody. So it's good to have a nice, good, fresh start. And actually, I want to play something that Terry shared with us this morning that I loved so much. So while we're waiting for everybody to get on, I'm going to get it going. Yeah, we're ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
No president yet.
Hold up. Mute. Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Oh,
And they do not have the key.
I'm starting over. Okay, this is our buddy Tom Ferry.
No president of the United States is my moral compass, and they do not have the keys to my kingdom. So what do you do when there's just so much uncertainty? My answer is you create certainty. Think about it. Like, I got to focus on the things that I can control. I got to do the things that I can control. So like the morning after the election, you can sit there and go, oh my God, what's going on in the world? Or you can say, I got to go to the gym. I got to do my gratitudes. I got to do my affirmations. I should call my mom and tell her I love her. I should call my wife. I should check in with my boys. I should review my goals. I should get back to doing what I do best, because that's the stuff that I have control of. That's also, by the way, what brings me certainty. If you're watching this right now and you felt any ounce of uncertainty the last week or so, I would ask you just to consider, you felt uncertainty. You felt uncertainty. I'm choosing to feel certainty. That's the way you move your body. It's the questions that you ask yourself. It's what you give your attention to. It's what you give your mind space to. You have to decide. At the end of the day, and I'm going to be bold and say this, no president of the United States is my moral compass, and they do not have the keys to my kingdom. I'm in control, just like you. You with me?
So I thought that was an awesome way to start. What are some thoughts? Did that strike a chord with anyone? Oh, I think you forgot, since the last time that this is interactive and that we all chat.
Emily, I'll help you out here. I love that. First of all, I've known Tom for a long, long time and got a lot of great mindset stuff from both him and his father over the years. But it just reminds me, I mean, it's so important. If your goals and your vision is big enough, then everything else is just noise. And if we're committed to what we're doing and who we want to become, then, you know, we don't get pulled into it. I think where we get the uncertainty is when we're not 100% committed on achieving our goals or who we want to become, then everything distracts us. And I think the presidential election was exactly that. It was crazy to me to see how many people were wound up on an axle last week. And most of it was over stuff we don't control. I mean, I felt like either way I did what I could do. I voted, and I'm still moving forward on my goals regardless of who's the president. So I appreciate Tom saying that. And I'm just proud all you guys keep moving forward. But man, have some big goals and dreams that get you excited. Then who cares about all the other stuff? It's just noise.
I love it.
I would agree with
Thanks.
that. One thing that I implemented re-implemented recently, I got myself off of my morning meditation routine. And the biggest resounding thing that I got from Tom's message just now is, like, the big things like the presidential election aren't what actually impact our life. It's the small compounding things that do. So getting back to my morning meditation, for example, every day will have a gradual impact and allow me to get through whatever comes our way.
Absolutely. Thanks. Does anybody else have a thought?
Don't take all the toilet paper, even if
Yeah.
you're like stressed
Yeah,
out.
let's just calm
Don't
down.
take
on the
it
toilet
all.
paper. Yep,
Leave some for us.
that's a common theme throughout this year too, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen and let's get started. We have a lot of cool stuff I'm excited to talk to you about. And we've got a bunch of guests. Okay. So we did something different. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this up. So you all saw, everybody got those nice little text messages from Governor Herbert the other night. He's being very personal these days, which is nice. And I just wanted to bring your attention to this. We're not new to this, right? This is something that's been going on and happening. And we are behind this. We just need to be smart, right? We've been getting a lot of questions about it. In terms of our business and real estate, we should be operating in the same way, which means we should be spacing our people out. We should be not going and showing homes when we're sick. We should get the temperature, meaning like the not physical temperature, but of our clients and seeing what they're comfortable with and just following the mandate. So for the next 2 weeks, what has really changed is when you're off in the office, if you guys can just help me out, let's wear masks when we're in the office. They are threatening to fine if the companies don't abide by that. So I just want to make sure that we're really aware of it. And if we can hunker down for 2 weeks, we should be okay. Businesses are open, restaurants are open, those kinds of things are open. If we can just social distance when we're showing our homes, drive a separate car, let's just be smart about these things. Does anybody have any specific questions or concerns that we need to address? There we go, Boyd. Exactly. Thank you for listening very much. You guys okay? Ready to move on? I know we're all ready to move on from this thing altogether, but we're still in it. It's November and it's still part of our life. So let's just continue to do the best that we can in being responsible and doing what we're asked for just this 1 minute. Okay, so is Ryan Pettit on? Do you see Ryan yet? Anybody? I don't see him quite yet, so we'll get to him in just a sec. Brock, what do you have for us?
Yes, hi. Sorry for the past few weeks, by the way. I kept hopping on late and missed the opportunity. But the biggest thing that I see in the industry right this second, which probably will continue getting bigger, is the forbearance and how that might affect not only people who are refinancing, but people that were in a COVID forbearance on their current home that they're selling and now attempting to buy a new one. And that can have an impact on, depending on the loan program, on how they need to be qualified, if they need to have made payments prior to buying a new home, so on and so forth. So I would say just be cautious on that. The general rule of thumb is most programs, it's inconsequential once they sell. So if they are doing like a simultaneous close, they sell their home and then that same day or next day buy a new one, it's generally not a consequential thing. But there are some programs like FHA has not released clear guidance like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have. So there are some other weird things where sometimes borrowers are downgraded to a manual underwrite on an FHA, for example, if they can't prove they've made 3 payments post forbearance, even though their loan is being paid off and therefore fully caught up. So I think just be aware of that. And aside from if it's not paid off and they're keeping their home, the other general rule of thumb is all payments have to be caught up, or they had to have made 3 sequential payments post forbearance. So they can't come out of forbearance November 1st and make 3 months worth of payments and be good. It's got to be sequential payments post forbearance. So that's what I've got. Are there any specific questions on current clients that people have in relation to this forbearance issue?
Hey, Brock, if they have taken the forbearance, is that noted on title? Does the lender typically put some sort of a filing related to that?
On credit, it generally is. Most of the mortgage holders are putting, disaster forbearance or some sort of verbiage on there, or just showing a 0 payment due on their mortgage. So that's another
You
big
seen
thing.
anything show up on a title report though? It's
No.
not like a notice of default or anything like that?
No, it's pretty much across the board. All agencies and lenders are on the same page that this is not any sort of default at all.
Okay.
But
So it's not
unfortunately,
negatively affecting their credit. It's notated on the credit, but as of yet, it doesn't negatively affect it.
yeah, correct. It still shows them current. Credit's good. The title is good. No issues there. But the biggest challenge that we're seeing, and this will continue to evolve, is the agencies are, especially FHA, is not providing any clear guidance to the mortgagees, which is the mortgage companies. They're just basically saying, hey, it's up to you to determine the credit worthiness of this client with all things considered. And so it's creating some, I just think some unknowns on how to make those decisions.
I
Interesting
have a
thing.
question.
Oh, sorry. Go with your question. Yes.
Well, I was just wondering, what do you see in Utah as far as foreclosures and things on people that have been in forbearance and still aren't able to make their payments?
So thankfully, at least for now, we're not seeing a lot of, notice of default or foreclosure proceedings starting. Most of the banks, over the past several years, they've been forced and mandated to become very liquid and able to float the business that they have. So they're able to survive this lack of cash flow, which is good. So I don't think they're going to be too aggressive, especially with the government being so supportive of ensuring people aren't put in a bad position and losing their homes. So I think we're going to be pretty safe there, but the quarterly data for third quarter should be out soon on some of those updated numbers. We went over second quarter data a couple of calls ago, and I haven't got the third quarter stuff yet, but I'll be sure to share that once I get it.
And guys, something that's really important to note, the difference between this was happening in 2008, 2009, 2010. People were not able to pay their payments. The difference is that they were losing equity at the same time. So we're in a very unique situation right now that could be a great advantage to us and to our clients in talking to them about, hey, if you're struggling, the good news is this hasn't affected your credit right at this minute. Let's sell your house and let's help you with your plan B before it negatively affects them for the future. So we've got a great opportunity to.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it's a lateral move, if they sell and cash out of their equity and buy a lateral home with a low down payment at current rates, their cash flow could be
every month. Yeah.
big improvements.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? Thanks for that info.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, Rich, what do you have for us?
Yes. All right. Who can tell me what all of our fiduciary duties are? Loyalty, obedience, full disclosure, confidentiality, reasonable care, any other duties required by law, correct? So when it says any other duties required by law, the one that they leave off that is part of law is holding safe and accounting for all money or properly entrusted to the agent. So what I want to share briefly is we can overcome most problems as agents, but we can't overcome failure to protect earnest money. Now, this is either in reasonable care or this is holding safe that money. When we get those funds, we turn them in within that 4 days. As soon as they give you that check, you turn it in immediately to the office. So, but the big thing is a lot of the problems that I deal with as a broker, fortunately it's not a lot, but the ones that are more escalated have to do with earnest money, and where the buyer was not aware that the earnest money was going to become non-refundable at a certain date. So please make sure that your client is always aware of, not even the day before, but maybe 2 days in advance, let them know, hey, your last date to cancel without any penalty is this Friday. And then remind them again, this is your last day after today. This amount of the earnest money is non-refundable. I know it's a small thing, but it really is a big thing that could prevent you from a whole lot of heartache. So that's all I have. It was me on a soapbox today. I'm sorry.
It's good. It's a really good reminder. We get caught up, especially when there's a lot of things we're juggling. Those timelines and stuff are critical. You got to really get a system to make sure that nothing's missed so that we are representing our clients in the best way. So thank you so much. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thanks. All right, guys, we have Boyd on the call. Thanks for being here, Boyd. Yeah, take it away. It's all you.
All right. Hey, Rich, thanks for that. I just really want to give you a shout out. I know you usually get a call after the fact, after we've already not taken care or got ourselves or our clients in trouble. And I know that that's a lot of your day, and it means a lot to me and to the agents. I know how hard you work on that, so I appreciate it. And that is a good reminder. One of my worst ever moves as a realtor ever early in my career was putting a significant amount of earnest money at risk for a client. And it just something that has stood with me forever. I had the wrong deadline in my mind, and we went past it. And at that time, it was a $50,000 earnest money. And it was pretty significant. And I remember going into my broker at the time, Paul Wilden, in the Midvale office. And I said, Paul, here's the situation. I thought the date was Thursday. It was Tuesday. It's $50,000. We've got a little discrepancy. The seller pointed out to me that we've passed our deadline. And I said, what do you think? And he looked at me and he said, Boyd, I think this isn't any of your best realtoring. And, he sure gave me a lecture, but thank God we were able to work through that deal. But it was a pretty scary moment because that would have eclipsed probably 50% of what I had earned that year because it was completely my fault. It was my lack of communication, understanding. And if it was lost and the client wanted to come after me, I felt like it was 100% would have been my responsibility. And I've always been very sensitive to dates since then. And hopefully none of you have to have that, oh crap moment, or have Rich look you in the eye and tell you it's some pretty lousy realtoring. But it's important, and there's some real consequences. People get funny about their money when you lose it for them. So thanks for that.
Got it.
What else are we going to talk about, Emily? So guys, I have some exciting news. I'm glad to be here. I guess I don't get to the meetings too often, but there's some things most of you probably maybe know about this or not, but something that Emily and I and the rest of the ownership group have kind of been working on for a while, and it's very exciting. And I'll come out and tell you what it is and answer some questions, tell how it is. But we are making a move in the leadership. We're grateful to have some great consistency at the helm of who's been running the office. And Emily, how long ago did we get in business together?
You're really setting this up like you're firing me, which this is maybe going a little different than I thought, but we started talking in February of 2015 and I started in May of 15.
Okay, so 5+ years?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gary Keller is a real mentor of mine. I've learned a lot about how he does business. And I've tried to incorporate a lot of that in how I do business. And part of that is creating a big enough vision for lots of people to succeed within your organization. We can't do this alone. Together we all succeed and we do better with each other. And when Emily and I first started talking about the team leader role, she wanted to be convinced why she would come and work in this atmosphere at Keller Williams. And part of the process, the recruit, select, and career visioning process we go through is a thing called future self. So those of you who've been through career visioning may be familiar with that, but that is a process where we say, picture yourself, if we're having this conversation 5 years from now, what has to happen for this to be a complete success for you? And so at this point, we're engaged, we're talking about the job, and we're trying to together understand what would be a real win, both for me as the employer or a partner, and also for Emily in her role as a team leader. And one of the things that stuck out to me, which really convinced me she was the right person, is she said, Boyd, I've been working in the real estate industry forever. I've been working for these large corporations. I brought value to them. And when they made position changes or something changed at the company, I had no say in that. And so as much as I love working for Richmond America, Henry Walker, all these other things, at the end of the day, I had no say. I didn't have a stake or a vote at the table because I had no ownership in that company. And if this works out ideally for me in 5 years, I'll have something that I feel like I have ownership. I will have the ability to impact a company and have a stake in that company, a say in how that company's built, a say in how we do things and what we're creating together. And I'll also be a shareholder and have a seat at the table when things change, as things progress with the company. And so we worked on that a little bit further and further. And really, it seemed like one of the things she was very committed to is to owning a business at some point in her future. And that she thought that being a boss babe, that there were too many dudes running the real estate industry and controlling things. And the women were the ones selling all the damn houses and running all the offices and building all the doing all that stuff. But when it came down to it at the board meetings, down at the board, all the owners were a bunch of dudes making decisions for an industry that was essentially run in no small part by the awesome women that we have in the real estate industry. And so as we got into business together, that was significant for me. I think it was significant for her. And I got to tell you, in 5 years, she's kept her end of the bargain. As you guys know, she's been a great leader for us. She's changed the face of our company. From a cultural standpoint, from a production standpoint, from a size standpoint, and she's put her DNA, everything in Keller Williams South Valley. When people think about that company, they think of her leadership, certainly with the other great leaders we have in there as well. But it's been her ship to sail and to make mistakes and do, in her case, a lot of really great things. So I'm just really proud of her and grateful to be in business. And I consider it a very lucky day when we got together to be able to move forward as business partners. It started as an employee and now a business partner. And so one of the things in the Keller Williams model is I never know exactly what to do with team leaders when they kind of wear through the process. And it's a tough job. And, I've seen people last for 10 years in the role, but typically it's not that long. And so I always wanted to have a what's next. And it was important, Emily, that she had a what's next. And so we've been talking for a year and a half, and we have worked her into an ownership. She wasn't an owner when she started. She now owns 5% of the company and has continued to want more of that. And so I'm here to announce today that Emily, we're promoting within the leadership. She's being promoted to the position that I have, which is called operating partner. For those of you that don't know what an operating partner does, congratulations, Emily. So an operating partner, my primary role as operating partner is to have maintain the vision for the company, to have the capital for the company to make sure we can do that, and also to go out and find a great team leader that can carry out that vision and then work with accountability with the team leader to execute on that vision. And the team leader's role, as you know, is to grow the company, make it profitable, make it productive, and to basically build systems and a staff around that vision to be carried out by the ownership group. So on behalf of the ownership group, I am the majority owner of the company at this point with my founding partners. Claire, I see she's on the call here. I guess it was 12 or 13 years ago that we put this company together. So Mike Carmody maintains a ownership piece. Claire does. Charlotte, who's just been an awesome partner for us for so many years and is mostly retired now. She, other than me, is the largest second owner, and she'll be reducing her ownership a little bit. And Caprice Gunn, who is the original founding team leader, has an ownership stake, which I'm really proud of. And she certainly has earned that as a part of this. I do believe Amy, I guess Rich Varga is the only other. He's a partner of ours in Sugar House who helped us when we put this together, and he has a small ownership piece. So anyway, I give you that role sort of rundown to let you know that it's now Emily's job to be the OP, and her first job will be to replace herself as a team leader, which is a huge job. She's not going anywhere. She'll still be available to you. And I just think she's really earned this. She has built a company. She has great relationships with you guys, and she cares so much about the company. And so we're on the hunt for a new team leader. And some of you may know that, and we're hopeful that we can find a candidate from within our company, but we're not limiting it to that. And we're going to go to work finding a great team leader. And what I told Emily, she's got to find someone that can be better than her. And she will be, by the end of the year, she'll have a 25% ownership stake in the company. And we've worked out a plan where she can earn more of that over time with success, to a point that she will be my boss someday and will have a higher percentage than I have. Hopefully it's not. What's that?
Goals.
Yeah, that's when we were going through this. We were talking about the different. She just wanted to know at what point her percentage became bigger than mine. She kept about being a crap. She's like, and then what? And then what's next? And what's next? And how much do you have? So anyway, that's the big announcement. The good news is I'll still be involved, and she'll certainly be involved. And I think it's an exciting moment for our company and for Emily and for all of us. And I just really wanted to congratulate Emily and make sure you guys were all aware of that and answer any questions. But it gives me an avenue to stay in business with Emily long term. I think it's in the best interest of the company at this point, and certainly for you guys. And it's a win for me to have her, really owning what's happening out there in South Valley. So I'm happy to take any questions, either on this format or offline. But Emily, congratulations, and well deserved.
Thanks so much. It's been a hard decision because I'm so invested in what's going on. And so this is a way for me to continually be invested. But I do have to tell you one thing. It's funny how, and it goes perfectly with what we're talking about. It's funny how when you're little, you want to do something and it's just kind of there, but we forget it, right? Sometimes life moves on. We just go certain paths and we forget some of these goals and dreams that we had at one point. And last year, we were helping our parents move out of the home they lived in for 30 years. And I found this paper. I really had remembered doing this, but I found this paper and I couldn't find it to show you today, but I found this paper of what I had drawn when I was in first grade or something, or second grade. And it was a building. It was the tallest building in the area. And we had to draw our job of what we wanted to do. And I said, I want to be the boss of the tallest building in the area. That was just always something that I wanted to do. So I've had forgotten about that until you and I were interviewing, and just had been, I'm a worker. I'm such a worker. I'd just been doing job. And that what changed for me is the perspective of, what do you really want to do in your life? What do you want to do 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What is it that you want to do? And I've never had a leader that has gone through that with me. And it really changed. It's changed my life, right? It's been very hard, very rewarding. My heart's been so in it. And I felt from day one that this is already my office. So Boyd, leave me alone. Let me do it, right? But the support, truthfully, that you have given me and us, and the ability for, when I say me, I mean my, the leadership team that we have here and all the boots on the ground. It's been really great. And I'm excited to be able to help in a different capacity and just extend the support that we have. We still get Boyd. I'm going to be there. And then we're going to get that next leader in place to just offer more and more help and support. And really a focus for me is that same thing. So what is it for you in 5 years? Is it wealth? What is that? And how can we be a part of that? That's how you're always going to be with us. That's how your life is enriched in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever that is, that you're still with us because of what it's done for you personally and for your family and for your life. So I appreciate it so much. And I'm excited. I'm nervous. I also really want to do a good job. So thank you, guys. Where's my award? I feel like I'm accepting that at the Grammys or the.
And it's been verified. The drug test did come back negative, so we're a go.
What are you supposed to do? Cranberry or something? There's something you could that worked. Poppy seeds, whatever it is, that worked to counterbalance it. Anyway, so we are here if you guys have any questions. I know KW, it's kind of different the way that the leadership works, but bottom line is we're all of us are just here to help you. We want you to succeed. Is that it? That's it? Okay.
Well, if I can, I just want to commend you so much, Emily. Like, I worked side by side with her ever since she started, and just seeing like the blood, sweat, and tears that she's invested into this. Like, she loves every single one of you individually and wants to see you all succeed. But while she's been here, we've more than almost, doubled our agent count. We've never been more profitable ever, and our agents have never been producing more. So I just want to commend you for all the hard work that you've done. Like, it's not an easy job at all, but you have made such a huge difference and a huge impact. And I tell you, I post about it all the time, but you touch everybody's lives that you work with. So congratulations. Like, I'm so excited for you. You definitely deserve this. And that's what I love about Keller Williams is no matter if you're in leadership or if you're an agent or an affiliate with us, it's always about opportunity and continuing your growth. So I'm proud of you. It's been real. And I'm excited that you still get to be involved. I mean, even just at such a higher scale. So congratulations.
Gosh dang it. Thanks. You're all part of it and it's so good. And I just think it's going to be an exciting way for us to finish out this year where we've got also, let's all stop talking about how hard it is because we want somebody to be enticed to come and do this. It is the most rewarding job I've ever done for sure. Like, it's in my heart. So you too should want to be a team leader. Let's not discourage anyone. There's a lot to it and it's definitely something that takes a lot of your heart, but you get so much back. So anyway, let's talk about you guys now. Let's talk about your vision. What do you want to do? What is this thing that you're going to do that in 5 years from now, you're so glad you did it because of what, right? What is that thing? So if nobody has anything else, should we move forward?
Congratulations, Emily.
Thanks, Mike. Love ya. Okay, so let's talk about kind of what's coming up. The reason that I'm doing talking about this stuff today is because we've got the business planning clinic coming up on the 19th. And this, can you see my screen? This is for you. This just in, you're awesome. You're awesome. Really thinking about what it is that you want to do takes a little bit of time. It's hard. And just like what we were talking about with Boyd in the interviewing process with him, in fact, that process is so dang long. I found myself one day calling him and saying, Boyd, like, what is going on? Are you going to hire me or what? What is happening? They just really take, I've learned a lot, I've learned so much being here. One of the biggest things I learned is being able to hire right and just really taking the time to make sure that you have a right fit. And he did. He took a long time. And it was to the point, at first it was like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. And then throughout the process, it was, why are you not hiring me? What is going on? But now looking back, seeing just the stuff that I've learned and the progress that I've made, it really, that 5-year benchmark has been something that's been really meaningful for me. And in thinking more about my next 5 years and what that looks like is something that I really want to impress upon you and have you just hang with me and think about where we can cast that vision of what it is that you can do. And so we have a couple of things in place with that. And we've got some cool things. We'll send you an email with what's going on. Let's not take time going through that, okay? You good with that? And then I'll send you an email with all this. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay, so we want to help you really gain momentum. We're in such a momentum business, right? Wouldn't you say? This business has everything to do with momentum. There was a time, I've been doing this for 16 years, and there was a time where my boss used to call me all or nothing M, because I would either have 5 contracts or 0, 5 or 0, 5 or 0. And so just getting that consistency with me, I really had to rely on the momentum. I learned that that was what it is. Momentum breeds momentum. And so we want to help you with your momentum as we're going through the end of this year and continuing to that first quarter next year. Because like Tom Ferry was saying, there's so much that we can't control, or we can only control to some degree. What we can control is our activities, right? We can control what we can do right now in building our businesses. And so we're going to do this awesome contest for you guys to help with listings and your activities to get those. So Amy, you want to take it away, sis?
Sure. So we wanted to do something kind of fun. So we themed this catch a listing, like go out and catch a listing, not the virus. So we're kind of trying to have fun with it a little bit. You may have noticed we have a big meme wall by the front desk. And just to kind of bring some smiles and some fun back into the market center. This is a really simple contest. So is there any way that I can share my screen? I'm just so I can show them how to log points. Let's see. Okay, can you guys see the dashboard? Awesome. Okay, so this is really simple. So every lead generating activity that you do is 1 point. And every time you take a listing, it's 5 points. So to log your points, you're just going to come to the dashboard, click on catch a listing, and you're just going to fill in your information, what day it is, and then what did you do today? What lead generation activity did you participate in? And did you catch a listing? Hit submit, and I'm going to tally all of the points. So we're going to do weekly winners. Every Tuesday at team meeting, we'll announce who won the week. And if you win the week, you get $50 worth of Facebook ads made and posted for you by our own Kimber Walton. So we're going to help bring you in additional leads and help you build your business. And then at the end of all of this, the overall winner is going to win $500. So really easy way to, get some extra cash in your pocket, get some extra leads going, and you'll just log everything here through the dashboard. And yeah, let's go catch a listing and drive those listings back through our market center that are so hard to come from right now. Do you guys have any questions on that, or how you do anything with it? Or and one thing to mention, the weekly winner will get their face on a lovely virus, and it's going to be added to our wall next to the front desk. That's the ultimate prize, really.
I have to give a warning too, that Zula and Jeff Farrell have they're very committed to these kinds of things. And when we did one of these, they won literally all the cash. So you got some competition, guys. Don't let them win it unless they win it. Does anybody have any questions?
Covered with Zula's and Jeff's.
Yes.
So get your face up there.
So it's a way for us, again, it's the activities breed the results. So we're going to be rewarding those activities and the result, and just going through. We'll be talking a lot about listings and a lot about helping you generate some of those leads and keeping that momentum going to help through the year. Questions or thoughts, anybody about that? Okay. Where did it go? Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay, she showed you the dashboard here. I just want to remind you that this dashboard is there. If you weren't on our meeting where we talked about this, we're now referring everything through this dashboard. So it's your access to everything, your access to your contacts, opportunities, anything in command, all the videos, all that kind of stuff, your access to all your personal things like Utah real estate and all of that. But this is also where you're going to see the big announcements, the big things that are coming up, and where you can register for these things. So please use this. Let us know if you have any questions. It's where you also are going to do your technical support. If you have problems or questions with that, or you have any other questions that need to go to any of the staff, we're here to help you. So you can put that through there also. It's KWSV-dashboard.com. Okay, I was so excited for 2020. Were you excited? I had just the cutest, I made a logo, and it had glasses for vision and a Gary Keller mustache, and it was so cute. And turns out it's been difficult. Turns out there's a lot of things that have been really great about this year, right? Business has been good for a lot of you. Business has been better than it ever has been for a lot of you. Certainly a lot of challenges. We've gained a lot of time with family members. That's good and bad, right? There has been some things. And so it's really put me into a lot of reflecting of this year and planning for next year and the things that we wanted to do and the things that have gone well and better and the things that haven't gone as well. And so I wanted to step you through some of these things on getting us mentally in the space to plan for what we want to do next year. And really it's your next year is going to dictate the path of your 5 years. Getting on that track and getting that momentum going is what's super critical. So I wanted to share this with you. One of the biggest downfalls that there is with achieving our goals is just not having the energy to do that. And when we think of energy, what do we think of? What do you think of when I say energy? Don't cheat. I'm taking it back. What do you think of when I say energy?
Red Bull.
Tim said Red Bull. Okay, what else? Enthusiasm, yes, I like that.
The drive to want to do things, go the extra mile.
That's interesting that you say it's not even so much the drive to do it, it's the drive to want to do it, right? To just get out and just actually want to do it. It's hard sometimes. Any other thoughts?
Taking care of yourself.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I know that's something that's important to you, which is helpful. And I wanted to reflect on that too. How do we do that? How are we really taking care of ourselves? And it's hard having the restrictions on us right now that we wouldn't want. None of us would want to have those restrictions. There is still a lot that we can do. And so I wanted to share this. This is Gary Keller's energy plan that he does every day. And this is one of those things that's had a big impact on me. And it's one of those things that when I get away from this, I definitely am not in the same headspace as when I'm really having to focus on following it. And what he does by 11 o'clock, so whatever your time frame is, by 11 o'clock that you've done your spiritual energy. So there's this breathing thing that Donnie is forcing me to do, manipulating me into doing, just kidding, introduce me to, called WIM something. What is it, Donnie? This energy thing, okay? It's a breathing exercise that's really hard and it's really awesome. And Wim Hof, thank you, Brock. It's been cool. I've only done it 4 days in a row, but today I held my breath for 45 seconds, which is hard, but a way to just be quiet for a minute. Even when praying, it's kind of hard to keep your brain quiet or whatever that is to you, whatever that spiritual energy, if it's a prayer, if it's just connecting somehow, but being quiet to do that. Your physical energy. I get caught into this where I don't eat enough. I don't fuel my body enough. Who's laughing? Does somebody want to say something? Sorry. Stop me if you want to say something. Okay. And then emotional energy, your mental energy. What are you reading? What are you putting into your head? The business energy. One of the things that Gary Keller said once that was impressed upon me is when he talked about the emotional energy that he would every morning he'd wake up and go lay down with his child or hug his child. So something that I've really tried to do also that's helped me a lot is making sure that I'm seeing them every morning, that I don't have meetings so early that I don't see them when they go to school. That really fills me up and helps with my emotional energy. So we got to get in the head, we got to get in the game, we got to get in the headspace for it, right? Something that people do a lot is affirmations. Does anybody have an affirmation or something like that that they do that helps them that they'd like to share?
Emily, every morning I try to look in the mirror and say something I'm thankful for and something that I like about myself. It's hard for me to sometimes think positively about myself. So if I'm able to say something specific, sometimes I'll even write it with an expo marker on my mirror. It helps make me be conscientious of those things during the day. So it's
I love
helped
that.
me a lot.
I've said that if there was, I mean, COVID is no joke. I think what would be a scary disease also is if we woke up in the morning and all of a sudden we could read each other's minds. That would be very scary, right? If we could all read each other's mind, what does that look like? What is going on in your headspace? And we're so much harsher on ourselves. We would never say to somebody else the things that we say to ourselves, right? And I came upon this too, is really like, it's easy to get caught into that scarcity mindset. So the things that come into your head, we've got to acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge it, give it a little bit of space, but then let's move forward from it. How can we convert that and change that? So instead of I don't have time, I will always have the time I need. Instead of I'm always behind, the pace I am going right now is exactly the pace it needs to be. Instead of I'm not doing enough, I'm worthy no matter what my output. Instead of results need to come faster, I will arrive in my own perfect time, so long as I'm doing every day the things I need to do. And here's just a couple others. If you need something that, write down something that resonates with you, something that maybe you struggle with, that's something you could write down or you could say every day, these affirmations. These are some that I love that help me. I do not live pressured or behind. I live proactively and efficiently. I always have all the time I need. The most irritating thing to hear is I'm just so busy. Tim hates that whenever anyone's like, sorry, I'm just so busy. How do we use our time, right? I have all the time that I need. It's up to me. Going right now is exactly the pace it needs to be. I will arrive in my own perfect time. I make time for people I love, and that includes myself. This moment is perfect for me. It's time. It's time for us all to get going. So we have this, I want to take like 5 minutes. Am I okay, Kimber? If I take 5 minutes more, would that give you enough time?
Oh yeah, they've got a good instruction manual that I'm going to give them. So
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I wanted to go through, and I'm going to stop this share for a minute. If you don't have something to write on, get your phone out so you can write it down. I want to go. This is something that Candace has shared with us that has been really helpful, and we do it at least once every year. Sometimes twice. We did a little tiny bit of this in July to kind of help us reset, but I want to take the time. This is, again, an exercise that's going to help you answer some of these questions so that as we're helping to build your plan for next year, you know what it is that you're building. So I want you to just quiet your mind, listen to what I'm saying, and just write down some of your answers. Kimber, do you want to find us some like mood music?
Enya, just kidding.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question and these questions, and I want you to just don't worry about punctuation, spelling, anything like that. Just kind of let your pen go and journal some of these things, okay? There's a quote that says, "There are none so impoverished than those who do not acknowledge the abundance of their lives." So let's begin with gratitude. You're the only one, write as if nobody's ever going to see it, okay? First of all, let's reflect on the things that you're grateful for. What are the people you're grateful for? Who are the people you're grateful for? Experiences. The home you live in. And tell me if you need me to slow down. The freedom you have. The money in your life. There was probably a point in your life where you would have been so grateful for the money that you have now, right? What opportunities have showed up in your life? Maybe lessons that you've learned. Write down a word or a couple words that remind you of the lesson that you've learned. And again, you'll go back and elaborate on this on your own to complete some of these thoughts, but just write down first thing that comes to your head right now, lesson you've learned. What about your health? What about your health are you grateful for? your friendships, maybe new friends, maybe old friends that have revisited you or reached out to you. Talents that you have, is there something that's popped up that's new, or is there a talent that you were neglecting that would be a good thing to think back on? What about the people that you work with or mentors? Who's shown up for you? What about the beliefs that you have? If we are lucky enough to have another 365 more days, what will we do with this gift? Now we're going to start to envision your perfect life and why you want to attract what you want to attract this year. This is important. This is an emotional board. It's not a to-do list. So lead with emotion as your journal. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. So let's get the emotion of what it is that's going to drive you, and then we're going to get your plan together at the business planning clinic. Okay, so think about, I have a few more questions. Think about places you want to go or visit and who's going to go with you. Write down the first thing that comes to mind. What do you want to accomplish this year? What do you want to learn? What feelings do you have? Wait, what feelings do you want to have more of this year? Courage, passion, energy. What do you want to attract more of into your life? Is it clients, leads, friends, mentors? Who do you need to love more, and how are you going to show them? We are forever changed to those we do not forgive. Who do you need to forgive? Is it yourself? What lies do you need to stop believing? You wake up tomorrow morning, are you proud of what's going on or how you're talking to yourself in your mind? If we can all read your thoughts. What do you want your health to look like? What kind of exercise do you do? What does your food look like? Where do you get your energy from? As much as we're talking about don't get COVID, we need to equally be talking about how are we giving our bodies the best chance to be healthy? What is your focus with that? What are we putting into our bodies? What are we putting into our minds? How are we having that be a focus? What books do you want to read or reread? Training, seminars, education, learning plan. Is there something that you would like to have more time to do? How are you going to have more fun? What do you like to do? What are you going to make time for? What small thing each day will produce the biggest result? What do you need to stop doing that might have the biggest result? What charity or person do you want to give your time or money to? What kind of spouse, parent, friend, sibling do you want to be? What does your wealth look like? What investments do you have, your savings? What will that do for your family? How do you want to increase that? What fear do you need to let go of? And the last one, at the end of next year, what would you be most proud of if you accomplished it? So this is what I want you to do as homework, okay? Where's that thing? Okay, what I want you to do as homework, I'm not going to share my screen for a sec, is I want you to review your notes, write down what surprises you. We'll send this all out to you. What made you excited? What made you emotional about it? About what you wrote down. And then set a date to get that vision board created and completed. Kimber's going to show us a really cool way of doing that. And again, it's tying to the mood, right? The emotion of what we're doing. And then you've got to have that really visible. Where are you going to put that? And remember that the laws of attraction are powerful, and so is accountability. So who's going to help you? Who's going to be that partner to help hold you accountable to this vision that you've set. So let me share this, Kimber.
And I can just do mine if you want.
Yeah, do you want to just share yours?
No, let's do that.
Yeah.
So I just put in the chat the PDF that I just want you guys to download so you can go do this later, because we're just going to do the quick like visual show you. So this is just how you're going to create your digital vision board. So some of this may not be new to you guys, or hopefully you learned something. So my favorite to do digital vision boards is Canva, because they have this feature called the grid. So if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. Okay. So I am just going to show you this really quick. Okay. Can you see that? Vision 2021. Okay. So you guys have this file, but like Emily went over this already, images that inspire you, images that are representation of your goals. So once you create that 411, what is on that? What feelings do you want to bring out? Tangible things that you want. I put insert fancy. I was going to put insert Lambo, because I feel like everyone puts this like insanely expensive car on their vision board. So whatever invokes that feeling. So for example, something I always put on my vision board is palm trees, because I'm always happy when I'm in a place that has palm trees. So I put that on there to kind of create a feeling when I'm doing a vision board. And then quotes or sayings, and then words that represent the intangible, I think we went over the list, but that's really important too. You know, do you want more love in your life? Things like that, that you maybe can't find an image that would represent that. So you're just going to spend some time saving all of these images on your desktop. And so the nice thing about a digital vision board is that you don't have to grab all these like magazines that are random and you're like, let's see if I can find my goals through these. So I have some websites that have uncopyrighted pictures on it, Pexels and Unsplash. If you're not using it online, then, and you're just going to be printing it, Pinterest is my favorite as far as for quotes and things like that. You just want to be careful if you're sharing something online that you have a right to share the picture. And then obviously Google. So on any of those platforms, if you're thinking, okay, I want a beach on my thing, just look up beach and then find the picture you like the most. You're just going to create a folder of every single picture that you can think of that you want to have on your vision board for the rest of the year. And then we'll just show you really quick, but these are the instructions. So this size in Canva, you can just create a specific size. It's a presentation size, so it'll print bigger. And you want it big enough that you can see it every day, but you want it small enough that it's not like, I mean, for me personally, I don't think I'll put a poster board on my bathroom mirror or anywhere near my bathroom mirror, but I might put something that's this size. So that's why you're doing that specific size. And then I'm just going to show you guys this really quick. So if I were going to create a brand new presentation, so Canva is a free service. You just sign up on canva.com. And then when you log in, there's this option to create a design. So you're just going to plug in under custom dimensions, the exact size that I gave you guys. And then you're going to go click create new design. And this is why I use Canva under elements. There's this section called grids, and you can click see all. These are all in the instructions, by the way. So this helps organize your vision board and look really good. So however many images you have, you want to pick one that's that size. So let's say you have 5 or 6 images. Then I can go click this, and then you'll see how it'll organize those all perfectly. And then all I have to do is go upload my pictures that I put on that folder, and then just go in and start plugging them in. that's the house from The Shining, so that's kind of random that it's on there. But so yeah. Does anyone have any questions on that? Good.
So you guys complete this exercise, go through, I'll send all this stuff. We'll send an email with the instructions of all of this. And then to go back through your notes and write down those things that are really impactful, circle the things that you want to focus on the most so that you can create that vision board, get your digital vision board, because it's almost 2021, so digital is important. And then the business planning clinic, let's get your how-to of just doing it. So 1 year from now, we're all so happy that we did it. But what did we do? Let's figure it out. Yeah, you on board?
Woo!
Woo. Okay, well, thanks. Thank you, everybody. Thanks again, Boyd. We appreciate you all. Appreciate what you do. You're the best.